In a bustling city nestled between golden hills and silver rivers, there lived a young man named Debo. He was brilliant, handsome, and the only son of a wealthy family. From childhood, Debo had been told he was better than everyone else. "You're destined to lead," his father would say. "You're the smartest of your generation," his teachers would proclaim. "You will never fail," his friends would cheer. And so, Debo believed them. By the time he was 25, Debo had built a thriving tech company, become a local celebrity, and had millions of followers on social media. People admired his intelligence and envied his confidence. But behind the curtain of his success was a young man drunk on praise. Debo never listened to advice. He insulted those beneath him. He believed that no one could touch him, not even God. When Debo walked into a room, people stood. Not because they respected him, but because they feared his sharp tongue and cutting remarks. He mocked the poor, laughed at the religious, and scoffed at those who asked for help. "If I can do it on my own, why can't they?" he would say with a smirk. "Some people were born to serve, and I was born to rule." One day, an old man named Baba Kazim came to Debo's office. He was a former professor turned street preacher who spent his days encouraging young people and teaching moral lessons. Debo had once been his student, but now, he barely recognized him. "Debo, my son," Baba Kazim began softly, "I've been watching your eyes. Your light is bright, but it's casting shadows on others. Be careful. Pride always comes before a fall." Debo laughed loudly. "Fall? Baba, you may have lived long, but you're living in the past. This is the age of the self-made. I am the future. I make my own rules." The old man bowed his head. Remember the story of King Nebuchadnezzar? God humbled him when he thought he was untouchable. Power without humility is dangerous. But Debo waved him off. "I don't need Bible stories. I have money, influence, and power. Go preach to those who need help." "I don't." Baba Kazim left silently, his heart heavy. Months passed, and Debo's arrogance grew. At a press conference one morning, a journalist asked him what he thought about poverty in the country. "I'm not here to save anyone," he said, sipping champagne. "People are poor because they are lazy. Let's not pretend." The clip went viral. His followers split, some praised his honesty, others condemned his cruelty. But Debo didn't care. "Let them talk," he told his staff. "As long as they're talking about me, I win." However, something strange began to happen. His lead investor pulled out of the company without warning. Then, a major data breach hit his servers, and confidential files were leaked. Lawsuits followed. The stock of his company plummeted. Then, one by one, his partners began to withdraw, saying they could no longer associate with him due to his public behavior. Within 3 months, Debo lost almost everything. He tried to regain control, but even the media turned on him. Headlines like "Prideful Genius Loses His Empire" flooded the internet. The people who once praised him now mocked him. The very followers he had used to inflate his ego began posting memes and laughing at his downfall. Soon, his accounts were frozen due to legal investigations. His lavish cars were repossessed. His mansion, too expensive to maintain, was sold off. Debo, the once proud king of the city, moved into a small 2-room apartment in a forgotten corner of the town. He was alone. Days turned into weeks. He reached out to friends, but none picked up. He messaged business partners, but they had moved on. The world had forgotten Debo, except as a cautionary tale. One rainy evening, Debo sat under a leaking roof, staring at the cracked wall of his room. His eyes were swollen from crying. His body was thin from skipping meals. He whispered into the darkness, "How did I fall this low?" Then, there was a knock at the door. He opened it to find Baba Kazim, holding a bag of food and a flask of hot tea. "I heard about what happened," the old man said. "May I come in?" Debo, ashamed, stepped aside. They sat in silence as Debo ate slowly. Then Baba Kazim spoke. "This moment is not the end. It can be your beginning, if you allow it." "I was so foolish," Debo said, tears flowing freely now. "I thought I was a god. I treated people like dirt. I didn't even respect you when you won me." Baba Kazim nodded. "The proud build castles in the sky, but storms come for everyone. You've lost much, but not all. You still have breath, and you can still learn." From that day, Debo began to rebuild, not with pride, but with humility. He volunteered at shelters, worked with youth organizations, and began to teach business ethics at community centers. He used his story as a warning to others. "I had everything," he would say, "and I lost it all because I thought I was better than everyone else." Success is a gift, not a right. If you're not grateful, it will vanish. Over time, people saw the change. Slowly, his reputation began to shift, not as the proud king, but as the humble teacher who had once fallen but stood up again. He never became as rich or famous as before, but he gained something deeper: respect, peace, and a clean conscience. One day, a young man approached him after a lecture and asked, "Sir, do you regret losing everything?" Debo smiled gently. "I regret how I lived before. But losing everything taught me how to truly live. The fall was painful, but it saved my soul." Moral lesson: pride can blind even the most brilliant minds. True greatness lies not in how high you rise, but in how you treat others on your way up. Success without humility is a ticking time bomb. But those who walk with respect, gratitude, and kindness will find peace, even if they stumble. Humility is the true path to lasting honor.